the father dies, there's nobody to look after her. Her father is dead. He is responsible to look after his mother, fully, completely. So, the male always is in a position where he's responsible for a female. As a husband, he must provide and maintain his wife. She doesn't have to work. Her responsibility is to look after the home and the children. His responsibility is to provide a place for her. So, when we look at that division of things, of inheritance within that context, then we can see it's quite reasonable. A portion of the inheritance is divided equally between the son and the daughter. But then, an additional portion is given to the son based on the fact that he is responsible for his sister, or for his mother, for his daughter, if he has one. Right? So, that additional portion is for the additional responsibility. So that law is not unjust. It is perfectly just. It is perfectly fair. It may not be equal, but equal is not always just. Equal can be unjust and unfair in some circumstances. The second effect that belief in Allah's name, Al-Quddoos, should have is that Allah's purity also affirms the truth of all that He informs His creatures. As Allah said in Surah An-Nisa, verse 87, وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا, whose speech is more truthful than Allah's. Thus, it should serve to remove any doubts that the believer might have in his mind regarding anything which Allah promises, even if what He has promised is beyond his or her comprehension. For example, Allah promises in Surah Ar-Rahman, هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ, can the reward for good be other than good? One may receive an evil consequence for a good deed and be discouraged from doing further good. So, one questions, where is the good for the good? The fact that we cannot see good doesn't mean it isn't there. Our belief in Allah as being the pure and the holy should give us the confidence in what He has told us. He has promised that the reward for good is good. So even if what we see in front of us appears to be evil, know that there is good behind it. The third effect of this belief in the divine name Al-Quddoos is that it confirms the very purpose of life for the believer. Because the creation of life without purpose would be an act of folly, a senseless act. Creation of life without a purpose. As anything in this world, when somebody does something and has no purpose behind it, we say the person has done a senseless act, a foolish act, something silly. Somebody knocks on your door and you open the door and you ask them, who do you want? They say they don't know. You ask them, why do you knock on my door? Said, you don't know. See, obviously this person has lost it. This is not a sensible person. Person doing acts without reason behind it. So Allah tells us in Surah Al-Mu'minun, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. Do you think I created you aimlessly and that you will not be returned to me? This is Allah's reminder that there is purpose here, and we need to know that purpose and live in accordance with the purpose. Those who fall into the rejection of religion as man-made, they've fallen into this trap. They feel that, yes, there is a God, but all religions, people made them up. Men are interpreting them, so they're, male biased, male chauvinist, or whatever. But they believe in God, but they say we don't believe in religion. But what does that mean? It means then, what is our purpose? Well, everybody has to find his own purpose. then this is confusion. We are created in this world and Allah didn't tell us the purpose for which we were created. Isn't that something inconceivable? I mean, if we think of having, for example, a factory, and we hire workers to come and work in the factory, but we don't tell them what their jobs are in the factory. So they come to the factory and they just aimlessly walk around because they don't know what they're supposed to do there. We'd say that this is mismanagement. This isn't wise. It's silly. The wise manager, he makes sure everybody who comes to work has a job description. He knows exactly what he's supposed to do there, what his purpose is. Allah is beyond all of that. He didn't create His creatures and not inform them what their purpose is here. So, believing in Allah as being Al-Quddoos is believing that He is free from such actions which are aimless. Therefore, there is clear purpose. We need to know it and live in accordance with it. Fourthly, belief that Allah is perfect and free from any deficiencies should also lead the believer to know that His speech, His laws, His divine decrees are all perfect. So, the believer would strive to see perfection in them. And even if he can't see it or she can't see it, they believe that it is perfect. And that keeps their faith intact. Now, to some degree, this name has been misused. We find the title given to the Quran as the Holy Quran. But this is in fact really an inappropriate description. Instead, what we find in the Quran is that Allah refers to the Quran as Al-Quran Al-Kareem, the noble Quran, or Al-Quran Al-Majid, the glorious Quran, Al-Quran Al-Azim, the magnificent Quran, Quran Al-Aziz, the mighty Quran. These are the descriptions which Allah gave to the Quran, but not Al-Quddoos. He didn't give the term holy to the Quran. So this usage really is inappropriate. And really it is Muslims being affected by the common practice among Christians to call their scripture the Holy Bible. So the Muslims, not to be outdone, call the Quran the Holy Quran. But it's not really appropriate. But if somebody said to you, what is your holy book? We don't say we don't have a holy book. We say our holy book is the Quran. It is the Quran. But we don't call it the Holy Quran. Also giving the Prophet ﷺ the title, the Holy Prophet. This is also inappropriate. In closing, I'd just like to mention that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ also used the name Al-Quddoos in prayer. And Aisha reported that whenever he was in a position of bowing and prostrating, he used to say, Subuhun Quddusun Rabbul Malaikati wal Ruh, free and pure from defects, Lord of the angels and the Spirit. And when he completed the witr prayer at night, he used to also say, Subhan al-Malik al-Quddoos, Subhan al-Malik al-Quddoos, Subhan al-Malik al-Quddoos, glory be to the Holy King. So this is the way that the Prophet ﷺ used to pray with this name, Al-Quddoos. And as such, we should strive to do the same. With that, dear viewers, we'd like to thank you for being with us in this segment of our program, In the Names of Allah. And we'll continue in the next segment with the name As-Salam, and we hope, inshallah, that you will be with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When you are weak and the road seems long, remember, just remember, seek strength from the strong.